First love yourself before anyone else. First love yourself by Trinesha Catrell.
Hi, this is Trinesha Catrell, and welcome to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. I am so grateful to have you here on this journey of self discovery and empowerment with me. In today's video, we are going to talk about asking. You have not because you ask not. Just kidding. No, ask and you shall receive. But before we get started, if you're new here, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more uplifting and empowering content like this. So get comfortable because we are about to get into it. Let's go. Okay, so I'm a little rusty. It's been a little while. Whenever it's like a whole weekend thing, I don't know what the weekend be doing to me, but it's like I gotta do a whole reset on video, like etiquette, everything. I just gotta get it all together, right? And it's so weird because you would think Monday through Friday that would be the time that I gotta reset, but it's like over the weekend, it's like and then it's like, oh yeah, it is Monday or it is Tuesday. And videos do drop on Mondays and Fridays just for people who are new to this channel that don't know when the video drops. It's every Monday and Friday, but because of the holiday, it was Tuesday. So thank you for rolling with me. Thank you for sticking in there. Let's get into this video. Okay. So I was reading earlier in Matthew, I believe it was Matthew 6. And in Matthew 6, it talks about, ask and you shall receive, knock and the door shall be opened unto you, right? And it really made me think about how, and this is not just all my words, I've been listening to podcasts, I've really been trying to get that knowledge so I can learn as much stuff as I possibly can so I can implement it into my life. And so as I'm sitting here learning and I'm thinking about asking God for things, I'm thinking about the podcast, and the person said something like, okay, what are your plans for the money that you're asking for? Like, let's say you said, God, I want to be a millionaire. I want $1 million. Okay, so what's the plan for $1 million? And it made me go a step further in my thought process and think, okay, God is asking us what we're going to do with $1 million. Let's say our answer is, I want to be able to pay my bills. Because most people say, if I hit the lotto, I'm going to pay my bills, right? That's what most people's answer is. But what if God says, okay, you want to pay your bills? I'll make sure you have enough money to pay your bills. You're thinking, well, I'm not a millionaire, but God asked you the reason why you want this $1 million, and you said it was because you want to pay your bills. If that's all you want, that's all God's going to give you. You have not because you ask not. It says, ask and you shall receive, not ask. And then I really feel like whenever we pray for things, we got to know exactly what it is that we want. We might not know what it's going to look like, what the journey's going to look like, things like that, because that's all in God's plan, and it's all up to God if we can handle something like that in our lives. But being able to show God that we're a good steward, being able to be in good standing with God, being able to be righteous, being able to show God that we can handle whatever it is that He's given us, I think allows Him to be able to give us more. When we ask God for $1 million, we have to think of the reason why we want $1 million. Do you really want $1 million because and don't, and the podcast said, don't give a church answer. And I never thought about it that way. Sometimes we'll say, I want to help this charity. I want to do this thing that I know is the right thing. But is that really where your heart is? Is that really where God is leading you? Is God really telling you to help this charity, or is He telling you to help your neighbor? Is He really telling you to help this big corporation, or is He telling you that He's blessing you and your finances so that one of your nieces and nephews can go to college? Like, you really have to think of what is it going to benefit your life for God to bless your finances and people around you, because it's not just about you. If you are only trying to get more money because you only thinking about yourself, that's probably why your finances aren't getting blessed yet. It's probably because God wants you to be able to help other people. It's probably because God doesn't want you to just be broke. I truly don't believe that. I don't believe that God, the God of abundance, really wants to bless us exceedingly and abundantly so that we can be poor, or so that we can be broke minded. I really think He blesses us because we can bless other people. Because if people can see the grace, if people can see God's glory, if people can see your attitude shifting for the better because of God, then it would make God look a lot better. It would make the kingdom look a lot more appealing. It would make us look more like Christ instead of looking like culture or the world, or looking like who we think we should be instead of who God created us to be. And as I sit back and think about this question, about asking for the things that I want in life, I really had to do some soul searching and deep diving into the reason why I would want to be a millionaire, the reason why I would want to be the first billionaire in my family, or the reason why I would want whatever it is that I'm asking God for. And is my heart in the right place? Am I asking out of selfishness and egotism, or am I asking because I truly can benefit other people by being able to receive this gift, being able to receive these finances, being able to receive whatever blessing it is that God is trying to give me in my life? And 50% of the time is because I always wanted to be able to do blah. It's not because I was about to bless somebody else. If I'm being real, like, and when I did want to help people, like, I wouldn't say, when I say 50%, I don't mean 50% is all selfish. I just want to ball out of control and just look like I got the newest whatever on. It wasn't like that. It was more like, oh yeah, then I can do this and I can do that. And I. It was more like I know I can do all of these things, not a flashy thing, but this would benefit me 50% before, until I really started thinking about that question. And the other 50% was the church answer. It was, oh, I can give this money to the church. I can give this money to this charity. I can give this money to blah. And it really wasn't a thought out process. It wasn't like I had known, okay, if I got $1 million, how's this $1 million broken down? Okay, I know I got to pay taxes. I know I got to give God his cut, because I'm not about to make $1 million and then just forget about Jesus. I got to make sure that God has his 10% and I pay myself 10%. And then the rest goes into necessities. And then there goes whatever else you're going to do with the rest of the money. And $1 million is not a lot. It's a good amount of money, but it's not everything. So if you're not a good steward of the million that God blesses you with, or the 100 that God is giving you right now, or the 1,000 that God is giving you right now, what are you going to do with $1 million? We really have to think of, because you don't get smarter the richer you get. You have to already be smart with finances before you can start to really get more, before you can start to make more, before God will allow you to have more in your life. He's not just going to let you be a detriment to yourself. He wants to make sure that if he gives you something, if he blesses you with something, his hand is all over it. It looks like him. It's not going to look like the adversary. It's not going to look like the op. It's going to look like God is all up and through there. It's going to look blessed. It's going to look like you're responsible, like you're really being a good steward of the things that God has given you. So when I'm thinking about this money, I'm thinking about work ethic too. I'm thinking about faith without works is dead. I can't ask God for these things and then think that that money is just going to last forever. I have to know that this is going to be something that goes into something else that allows me to produce more income. It's not something that I'm just going to have that's just going to all of a sudden just out of nowhere give me more money. That's like 1 in a million chance or whatever. It's not very likely that you're going to make money on one thing one time and then all of a sudden always continually have money. And I'm not saying that if you invest in something and the stock goes up, if you put a certain amount of money in the bank and just let it sit, that you're not going to accrue interest on it, or whatever else. I'm just saying, or accrue income from that. You would be able to do that. But I think it's important for us to think long term with the money that we're given, with the things that we're given that God is blessing us with. Because I don't know about you, but I want exceedingly and abundantly above anything I could ever ask or think. I'm trying to have, like, I want the prayers to be answered so well that it's pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm trying to be blessed, and receiving everything. I want to leave on E. It's the type of life I want to live. And when I'm thinking about finances now, if I'm giving a church answer, I'm giving to a charity or the church. If I'm giving a real answer, if I really was intentional about the money or the blessings that God's given me now, I would pay 10% to God. I would pay 10% to myself. Some would go to necessities, and I would be investing. I would be doing something to help the people around me, because I would help like a niece, a nephew. I would help, this person, and only if God told me this is what this is for. Sometimes we think, oh, I got a bonus check for $1,000, and then that family member or friend needs the money for whatever reason. And I'm not saying you just give away your money to people in your family all the time just because you're being a good steward of your finances and they're not. I'm saying that sometimes God blesses you because he knows that that need is coming for somebody else. And if God is giving you $1,000 and this person comes along that's in your family who works really hard and they just, life happened to them for whatever reason, and they're like, oh man, I'm going to have to move out if I don't have, maybe not move out because most of the times that will be the first thing that you pay, but something comes up, an unexpected expense, like maybe their child goes to the doctor or something, and the bill is so much that it's hard for them to pay off because they'll never be able to get ahead because it's just like one thing after the other. And you got that bonus is probably to help your niece or nephew, it's probably to help your cousin, it's probably to help your family member because God knew that they were going to need it. It might even be for you to help yourself. You might think I got $1,000, I'm about to all out. And the whole time God is like, you gonna need that $1,000 next month when you got an unexpected expense of buying 4 new tires for your car. Like you didn't know that was coming, but God knew it was coming. And sometimes we get so beside ourselves because we think that we have all the answers or we know exactly what we want to do in life. And so we'll spend the money and then be like, oh, woe is me. God, you know, why is it so rough on me? I don't have no money for this. I don't have no money for that. But you had the money, but you spent it, you know? And me personally, I want to take full responsibility for myself and my actions. If I'm doing something, if I'm mishandling my finances, if I'm mishandling my life, it's on me. It's not on God. God blessed me with the finances to be able to pay that thing. It's up to me to be a good steward of that money so that I can utilize it for the right things or use it for the right things and not just things that only make me look good. Not just because I want to seem like I'm out here balling out of control. Not just because I want to be driving this new Porsche 911 coupe. Not just because I want this big fancy house. Not just because I want these red bottom shoes or whatever else it is. It's got to be because it's benefiting the kingdom of God. It's got to be because I got a plan for the life that I have. And I don't mean my plan over God's plan. I mean that I'm intentionally being a good steward of the things that God has given me. And I'm asking God what his intention is for my life or for the plan that I have. If he blesses it, I go along with it. If he doesn't, then I know it's for something else. And it's so important for us to really think about what we're asking God for. When you say, God, I want a relationship, do you really want a relationship or do you want a vacation? And I only say that because I've been there in the past. So I'm not saying it to get on anybody in these videos or anything like that. Whenever I say something, it's because I'm holding myself accountable too. Do you really understand that relationships take work, or do you just want to look good in photos? You have to really figure out what really matters to you in life, and if it's a real reason behind the reason you're praying for that thing in life. When you say, God, I want more money. If I just made 30,000 more, is it because you really need more money to be able to pay your bills, or do you just want to ball out of control? Do you have trips in mind? Because I'll be having some trips planned on the inside. I'll be like, I want to go this place, but I'm like, okay, can I budget for that same trip, or do I need an extra $30,000? Yes, it would be beneficial, but am I going to use it in the right way? Is my heart posture in the right place? Is my mindset in the right place for me to be asking God for these things? Is this something that I can do on my own? If it's something that you can do on your own, then see what you can do in your life to make it happen and pray to God for the things that you can't control, the things that only God can do. That's what I want to try to use my prayers for if I'm really struggling or struggling a little bit and I'm like, God, I don't know what to do in this situation. That's what I will pray for. I'm not going to say, God, give me $100 when I can just cut back on something and save $100. I'm not going to say, God, give me a person if I'm not ready for a person. I'm going to make sure I prep in the off season so that I can treat the person the right way. If I'm saying, God, I want a new house, I got to make sure I'm cleaning the house that I'm in. If I'm saying, God, I want a Porsche 911 coupe, I'm going to have to make sure that I get oil changes on the car that I already got. I'm going to have to make sure I'm cleaning the car that I already got. God is not going to bless you with more if you're not a good steward of a few things. If you're a good steward of a few things, God will bless you with plenty. So it's important for us to really be realistic with our prayers and real with ourselves. Like in the past, I would be lying to myself. I'd be like, I really want this thing and I'm so healed and all this. And the whole time I wasn't healed. The whole time I was praying to God for stuff that I could have done on my own. The whole time I was really asking for stuff that I didn't even really want. I just thought that I wanted it because it looked, that's what culture said. That's what the world was telling me. And I didn't even like none of that stuff. Like like I really didn't want that new pair of jeans. I got plenty of jeans, or whatever else it is. It's up to you to really be real with yourself and say, okay, that's really something that I did. I take responsibility for my actions. You got to really say, this is something that I really want in my life because, and then ask God and ask and you shall receive. Knock and the door shall be open unto you. You just have to really be real about it. Like, God, this is what my heart truly desires. And God knows your heart. If your heart is in the wrong place, no matter how much vocabulary you use, like that preacher said, it doesn't matter if you sound like you got the best English in the world. If your faith and your hope is not in your prayer is desolate. It does not matter. Everything matters to God, but if you really don't have no faith, you're showing God that you don't believe it. So if you really truly want something, you have to have faith for it. You have to say, okay, God, I really want my business to be better and I'm going to be a good steward of how the business is right now. God, I really want more life coaching clients and I'm going to take care of this one client like it's 100 clients. God, I really do want this platform. So I'm going to take care of the one person just like I'm going to take care of the 100,000 people that's going to be on this platform. God, I really want to be a voice for your people and used as a vessel, as an oracle for the sound system of the kingdom of heaven. So if I'm a good steward right now and I'm really pouring into people and speaking life into people right now, I'm going to continue to do that no matter how many people are there. Keep me humble and keep me serving because that's what I want in life. And God will be able to bless you and show you how to do it the right way. But make sure that your heart posture is good. Make sure that you know what it is that you're asking for and you are responsible enough to handle it. Because sometimes having more money, if you don't have a good mindset, if you're already sad, if you already have issues in your life, it's not going to help you be a better person. It's going to really ruin you. So really know like that everything that you're getting in life is going to be in God's timing because he knows when you're ready for it. And relax. Like just control what you can control in your life and let people be who they are. Have a heart of forgiveness and really stand on business. Be about your standards and boundaries. And get ready to ask for what it is that you want in life. Because once you ask for it, God already has it on the way. He's just waiting for you to prepare, ready for you to be in the right mindset to receive it. He's waiting for you to be able to handle it properly. So always know that God always comes through and he hears your prayers. He has not forgotten about you. He doesn't just want you to live a struggle life. He wants you to live a life of abundance. You just have to have faith. So keep believing and knowing that God is going to come through. And you got this because God got you. Always remember that. And always remember to first love yourself. Bye.